Hi, I'm Katie Brown, and I'll be reading from my translation of From Savagery by the Venezuelan author Alejandra Banca, which is out in the UK now with Selkies House and coming out in August in the US with Restless books. So I'm reading from a story called Damp. Lucia lives in a very small old house just behind a convent near Plaza Catia. Before, it was a nice, quaint neighbourhood, mainly inhabited by foreigners, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese. Lucia has been living in the same place for almost 100 years. Her parents moved to this house when they migrated. She was just a baby. She grew up here with her two older brothers and enjoyed moments of infinite happiness, and here she remains, watching how everything deteriorates over the years. Little by little, the area has lost the charm of back then. I must have met Lucia when I was born, but I obviously don't remember her. My grandparents also arrived in Catia when they migrated. When my parents got married, they bought an apartment in the same development as my yayos. I mean El Chavo, a two-storey building with apartments following one after the other in a snail formation, leaving a central patio shared by all the neighbours, as well as the roof terrace. Lucia lives next door. She is the small separation, the comma, between the residential building and the convent. Calle Gucho was quiet. On Sundays, children would go out to play in the street, baseball with broomsticks and bottle tops, or tag. There was always movement. When Lucia was young, she found work as a secretary and helped support the family. She did it because she wanted to. Her parents already had money, and the twins, her brothers, also brought in money through their businesses. Later the twins married, and in 2000 they returned to Italy. Lucia didn't want to leave. She never married, although she did live with some men. She was a woman who knew how to enjoy herself and have fun. With the death of her parents, she inherited the house. She got into the habit of having many parties, gatherings with important people from Caracas society at the time, painters, writers, architects, actors and impresarios. Her house was almost always full. She was a beautiful and vivacious woman. She left her job as a secretary and went to work at the art gallery in the Chacaito Mall, a place with French cafes, bookstores, people with innovative ideas, thinkers, visionaries. It was the era of Saudi Venezuela and the oil boom in the 70s. People with money were everywhere. Lucia liked to surround herself with influential and famous people. In her house, she has a pile of photos with various celebrities, and, if you ask her, she will explain to you, pleased with herself, who that blonde man is and where they were in that other photo, dressed so elegantly, raising a glass. Now her street has really gone downhill. La Cortada de Catia became a violent place. The residents of Calle Cucho changed drastically. The former homes were modified bit by their tenants. People made divisions to bring in relatives or friends, and everyone lived crowded together like sardines in a can. Lucia kept her little house. She received good offers for it and everything, but no, I can't leave. Leaving means accepting, once and for all, that those glorious flashes of the family past, sparked by a fleeting glance at a window or a wall, will not return, not even in memories. Lucia collects her pension, but as for all senior citizens, the money doesn't cover anything. She survives thanks to a monthly transfer from her brothers. She hasn't spoken to them for some time, nor does she know whether they are still sending her money because, what with the problems with the electricity, everything is complicated. She knows that they give euros to a friend and that friend transfers bolivars to her. Years ago, the process worked well. Lucia went to the bank and took money out, or paid for everything by card, and that was that. But for some time now, she can't even remember how long. She can't do anything, not a thing. Honestly, she doesn't even try. Paying by card is torture. The signal is too weak. If it's not the electricity, it's the internet. People prefer to make transfers over the phone or online. They do it as soon as the electricity comes back on. But Lucia doesn't know anything about that. She's never got on well with technology. She has her landline attached to the kitchen wall. Nobody calls her because there are problems with CAN TV. Sometimes she even forgets she has a telephone. She does feel lonely and talks to herself more and more often. She replies to herself and gives herself a fright. Who said that? At what point did she end up so alone? She forgets things and then has sudden, vivid memories of bygone years. She doesn't understand, and she time travels between the folds in her brain and a present that is increasingly blurry, less real. She catches herself by surprise. Out of nowhere, she's on the patio, not knowing what to do or why she's there. She goes out onto the street and gets lost, lets herself be carried away by some glimmer or familiar sound, like a child. Pedrito, a neighbour, says he's going to teach her how to use a Huawei, but first she has to buy one. The prices of those gadgets seem ridiculous to her. No, son. Where do you think I'm going to get that kind of money from? From your family in Europe. You send euros, of course. No, don't be silly. It's not like that. I wish they sent me euros. They give me bolivars, and every day they're worth less. Well, you know how it is. Ask them for more, then. Lucia laughs. No, they do enough already. More than enough. They're older than I am, and they still provide for me. Go figure. And can't you do some odd jobs? Kill some tigers? Forget about tigers. I'd end up killing myself. Hey, you're still strong, Lucia, Pedro says. It's just that you've been spooked since that time, and now you don't want to do anything. You don't go out anymore. Being cooped up is bad for your health. Oh, shush, foolish child. Don't you talk about that. Thank you for listening.